Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze. Friday, May 31st, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at FedEx Forum box office or Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
This week, we're looking at our favorite black sitcoms. Mike, what do you got on your list?
It starts off with A Different World,
Okay.
the show that we're talking about.
I don't know. When's the last time you watched A Different World? Find it, watch it with the family. It is a phenomenal show, still to this day. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's number one.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope your favorite thing about the NBA playoffs is stars being stars, because we got that last night. Jalen Brunson, awesome for the Knicks. Nikola Jokic, awesome for the Nuggets. So the Knicks and Nuggets both won. Fun night of basketball. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, about 20 minutes from now, going to be joined by senior editor, Grind City Media, Mike Wallace. He's been in Chicago at the NBA Draft Combine, so I'll talk to him about a number of things, including Memphis' David Jones not doing so well at the Combine. That's not great for him, but it could be great for the Tigers. We'll talk to Mike Wallace about that and all things Combine. He's going to be here in the next segment. When I finish talking to him, I'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them what we speculated on during yesterday's show is now official. Doug Gottlieb is the new head basketball coach at Green Bay, and in a weird twist, he's also going to continue to be a national radio host. He'll try to do both at the same time. Respectfully, that seems crazy to me. We'll discuss it in about 40 minutes. Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut, it was last night in Connecticut. It did not go smoothly. She turned it over 10 times, and her team lost by 21. It's not a great combination. Give you more details in just a bit. Tom Brady has spoken publicly for the first time since his Netflix roast. You know what he said? Regrets doing it.
Yeah, figured.
Said he would not do it again, and had a real blind spot about how that whole thing would go down. I'll tell you exactly what he said. We'll do that in the third segment. Yankee star Juan Soto made history yesterday. Tell you what he did a little later on in the show. And the NFL has made it official that the Christmas Day games this year, they're going to be on Netflix. You better have a Netflix subscription if you want to watch football on Christmas. It's a new era for the sport. I'll give you the more details during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout, and we'll we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with the 2024 NBA playoffs because after last night's doubleheader, I don't know if you've been keeping track.
I haven't.
But we are now 25 full days into the 2024 NBA playoffs. 25.
Seems like it just started yesterday.
It's wild.
Yeah, it seems like it just started yesterday.
And the story from last night was that the stars were stars. First, Jalen Brunson for New York, and then Nikola Jokic for Denver. We had 2 pivotal Game 5s last night, which is obviously the way we prefer our Game 5s.
I do prefer them being pivotal.
They need to be pivotal.
Yep.
If they're not pivotal, but like, what is even the point? If they're not pivotal, what are we even doing?
Right.
But fortunately for us, both Knicks Pacers and Nuggets Timberwolves were tied 2-2 heading into last night. That makes both of those Game 5s pivotal Game 5s. And when they tipped off, the stars were the stars. Jalen Brunson, we'll start there. He took 35 shots, made 18 of them, and finished with 44 points to the Knicks, 121-91 victory over the Pacers. So the Knicks are now just 1 win away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Meantime, the Nuggets also now just 1 win away from the Western Conference Finals after last night's 112-97 victory over the Timberwolves, in which 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic obliterated Rudy Gobert. Jokic took 22 shots, made 15 of them, finished with 40 points, 7 rebounds, 13 assists, 0 turnovers. 13 assists, 0 turnovers is outrageous.
That's crazy, dude.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And it has already been called by some the best game of Nikola Jokic's career.
Ooh.
And this is a 3-time MVP who has won a championship, been a finals MVP. He's obviously had a lot of incredible games over the years, but last night really might have been the best, given the circumstances. Again, pivotal Game 5. He's matched up against a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, and he got 40 points, half of which came when he was matched up against Rudy Gobert. Jokic was 8 of 9 from the field against Gobert. It's just, he cooked him good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yep.
How concerned are you about your claim that Luka Doncic is the best player in the world? How concerned are you about your claim that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to get past the Denver Nuggets? And what'd you make of what Jokic did to Gobert last night?
Well, as far as Luka gets his shot tonight, right? They're playing tonight, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. Oh, buddy, he's got a high bar to touch now.
I know. He's got to put him on his back. The Timberwolves thing, dude, when I saw Mike was out last night.
That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it going into the season, and why I liked the Timberwolves was because when they made that move last season to bring Mike Conley to Minnesota, that team changed later the second half of the season when Mike joined them, and they got way better. And then you saw that in the playoffs last season when they were really competitive against the same Denver Nuggets team. And so him being out for that team just means so much because he is, like, obviously the assists were down, but he's just that steadying, even keel guy for the Timberwolves. Like,
and it also just puts a lot of pressure on Anthony Edwards.
Absolutely, to make everything happen, to not only go off and have a big performance, but to get his teammates involved.
Well,
and
it's
that's
just
not his game as much.
Well, they talked about it last night on Inside the NBA. They had a different crew in there because Shaq and Charles, I believe, were in New York for some business stuff. So Vince Carter, former Grizzly, was in studio, Draymond Green, Kenny Smith, and, of course, Ernie Johnson. And one of the points Draymond made is that, and Kenny Smith as well, is that when you have Mike Conley, you can do a lot of things with Anthony Edwards to just free him up and take shot creation pressure off of him. You can start him down at the baseline and just run him around. It's what the Warriors do with Steph Curry a lot. But when you don't have Mike Conley, then Anthony Edwards is going to have the ball in his hands at the top of the key a lot more often than he otherwise would, and that just becomes very, very difficult. As Kenny Smith said, when you got the ball in the middle of the court, you got 10 people you got 10 sets of eyeballs. You got 10 eyeballs looking at you. Mm-hmm. 5 sets, 5 players.
Yeah.
When you're down on the baseline, you might only have 6 eyeballs looking at you, and everything's easier. So Mike Conley going out makes things, yes, more difficult for the Timberwolves, but also especially more difficult for Anthony Edwards, and you saw that last night as well. Specifically on the Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert stuff, like it's very easy to goof on him because he's just easy to goof on.
Yes.
People don't like him. His peers don't really respect him.
Right.
You see all these anonymous surveys, and it's like, who's the most overrated player in the NBA?
It's always Rudy
and
Gobert.
It's always
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, right? But if you go watch like the actual – because if I just tell you Jokic was 8 of 9 when matched up against Gobert, you're like, he cooked him, and he did. But when you go back and watch it, it's like, what was he supposed to do? Somebody put together clips last night of most of the Jokic buckets against Gobert. Kyra, run it for us, and let's just watch this and wonder, what is Rudy Gobert supposed to do under these circumstances?
So Justin Holiday has come in, plus 11 in that Game 4 win a couple days ago, spinning inside.
He's right there the whole time. I mean, maybe not letting bump you that deep, but like
goes into Gobert.
He's got him under to go. What are you supposed to do?
Last time out, the biggest point of emphasis was smart offense, and Coach Finch was so fired up. He got out of his seat.
And he's with him the whole time.
Crutches at all.
He's with him the whole. What are you supposed to do with that?
Jokic, he's going to go right at Gobert. This is what he
Now they
wants.
just spread everything out.
Assist with Jokic. Accelerates and takes
He's
it
right there the whole time. Like, I don't want to turn this into defending Rudy Gobert because part of this is that Denver decided to go right at him every time. But like, what are you going to do there?
And then when you pull him away from the basket, like Rudy Gobert, that's when he's at his worst.
Well, when he's at his best is when he's not having to guard Nikola Jokic that far away from the basket, perhaps not even guarding Jokic at all, as much as just running around and being a rim protector, like a free safety almost, the way Jaren Jackson Jr. is at his best, the way Anthony Davis is at his best. But under these circumstances, he ends up guarding Jokic a lot. And I know the theme coming out of last night was, man, Gobert just got cooked. Gobert is a clown. Is that really the best defensive player in the NBA? And I get it because, like, whoo, he got him good. Who could have guarded that guy last night?
I don't think anyone.
Nobody.
Maybe
nobody.
Jaren.
I don't think anybody could have done anything with Jokic.
Dude, some of those shots, that hook shot, like, come on.
He cooks the way he had it going last night. He cooks anybody last night. Again, people are saying this guy's a 3-time MVP, should be 4, and maybe last night was the best they've ever seen him play. So get your Rudy Gobert jokes off. It's fine. I'll think of some too.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, what happened last night, that isn't a referendum on whether Rudy Gobert should have been the defensive player of the year. That's what some people are trying to turn it into last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's your defensive player of the year? I don't think what we watched last night was a referendum on Rudy Gobert any more than any other time.
I agree with that.
You know what that was last night? I'll keep this as simple as I can keep it. Do you know what we watched last night? That was the best player in the world being the best player in the world. And when the best player in the world is the best player in the world, when he is playing to that, nobody can do anything with him. That's what you saw last night. I don't care. You could have put Anthony Davis, Jaren Jackson. Nobody was messing with that dude last night.
I don't think so either.
He just killed. So now we get Game 6, Nuggets Timberwolves. It's tomorrow night inside the Target Center in Minneapolis. Minnesota is listed as a 2.5-point favorite. And so, based on the betting markets at least, we should have a Game 7. And that would be Sunday in Denver.
I think we will.
But it's hard to imagine. Isn't it hard to imagine at this point?
Denver losing a Game 7 in Denver?
Or just Denver losing 2 in a row.
It's hard to imagine, yeah.
I know they did it like last week.
Right,
I know that's how the
right.
series started, but it seems like they have regained their composure, established a certain level of confidence, and then just sort of flexed as champions do. And as we were, and this is just sort of the way the NBA playoffs work, we get so caught up in it, like, oh my God, because like Minnesota did win 2 games in Denver, and we're up 2-0 coming home. It felt like the Nuggets were in real trouble. And you start talking about the star turn of Anthony Edwards and the incredible defense that's suffocating. And I wonder if we didn't, and I include myself in this a little bit or a lot, didn't get too caught up in Anthony Edwards is Michael Jordan without stopping to go, 22-year-olds don't usually lead teams past the reigning champs like this.
Right.
Like, we are asking a lot of Anthony Edwards. To be 22 years old and go eliminate the reigning champs with the reigning MVP, like that's a heavy lift. And it has obviously gotten increasingly more difficult as this series has unfolded. And now, even though the Nuggets are underdogs in Game 6, they are pretty heavy favorites to advance to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year.
Yeah, and Anthony Edwards had a bad game last night. I think there's a reason they're favored in the next game. I would be shocked if he comes out and has 2 duds in a row. Like, he's probably going to go off in Minnesota in that next game.
Well, he had a bad Game 3 and a bad Game 5.
Yep.
In between, a pretty remarkable Game 4. So we'll see what he has in store for Game 6. And again, if we get a Game 7, it'll be Sunday in Denver. The other star of the night, that was Jalen Brunson in New York. And I thought Brian Windhorst did a really nice job of breaking this down this morning on ESPN. The big adjustment the Knicks made was to insert Miles McBride into the starting lineup and let him set screens for Jalen Brunson to get Andrew Nembhard switched on to him and Aaron Nesmith off of him. This is the stuff I love about long competitive series, like the game-to-game stuff. So in Game 1 and in Game 2, Jalen Brunson just cooked Andrew Nembhard, right? And that's how the Knicks took a lead in that series. Rick Carlisle adjusts. He's a Hall of Fame coach, so of course he is. He ends up putting Aaron Nesmith on Brunson. The series flipped. So now it's Tom Thibodeau's turn to make an adjustment. So he inserts Miles McBride, another little guard, into the starting lineup, and he has him just setting screens for Jalen Brunson to get Andrew Nembhard switched back onto Brunson so that he could just cook him again like he did in Games 1 and Game 2. Like, brilliant. Guard-to-guard ball screens, as Windhorst was discussing on ESPN this morning, like, those are rare in the NBA.
Right.
Like, you don't see a lot
I can't even think of it.
You don't see.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Because what you're typically trying to do with a high ball screen is get a big switched onto your guard, right? And they could do that with Hartenstein, but the trick here is, but then you don't have him available to offensive rebound if he's that far away from the basket, setting that high ball screen. So the adjustment here is we're going to do guard-to-guard ball screens, and we're going to force Andrew Nembhard to get switched back on the Jalen Brunson, and then we're going to let him cook. And they did it all night. Back to it, back to it, back to it. And then Miles McBride's knocking down shots too, so that's helpful. Here's an incredible stat that shows you how much emphasis was put on this very specific thing in last night's game by the Knicks. Before last night's game, Miles McBride in his career had set 8 screens in a game once, and that's the most ever. He had never set more than 8 screens in a game before last night. Guess how many he set last night?
10.
23.
Oh, my God. That's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, let's do something we've never done to get this matchup that we prefer and see what happens. And it worked beautifully. Other thing that worked well, they grabbed 20 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
The Knicks took 101 shots in 48 minutes. They got 29 more shots than the Pacers did. 29 more shots. You ain't losing a game. You get 29 more shots than the other team. They just offensive rebounded, and Brunson was a star. So now Game 6, that's set for Friday night. It'll be in Indianapolis. Pacers are listed as 5.5-point favorites. So, again, if that one goes the way it's supposed to go, we should get a Game 7. That would be Sunday, 2:30 inside Madison Square Garden. And there are reports surfacing this morning that suggest OG Anunoby might be available.
Oh, wow.
Not for Game 6, but possibly for a Game 7 on Sunday. You buy that?
No.
I don't either.
No. I mean, they haven't said that he tore his hamstring, but
yeah, it don't have to be torn. It could just be like anything.
Right.
Anything.
That thing is, we've talked about it a lot before. That's one of those injuries where it doesn't matter if you feel okay. Like if you feel like, man, I could go. Like once you start running, it's just not going to work.
You can walk around, but you can't do what you got to do to play basketball.
Right.
And so we'll see. We'll see. I'm not doubting the reports. I'm sure that the reporters have been told this by somebody inside the organization. But Vernon and I talked about it earlier in the week. When you hear hamstrings, calf strains, And like with Mike, calf strain, like he's probably done for a little while, right?
Yeah.
When you hear those types of things, it's like people almost never come back when they think they are.
Mm-hmm.
You hear might be back by this time, and it is never that time. Never. So when you hear he might be back for Game 7, I'd translate that into if the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe he can play then, presumably against the Boston Celtics. But I think the Knicks, if they're going to get past the Pacers, are probably going to have to do that without OG Anunoby. And you know what? They probably can. They probably can. There really is something to be said for that building and toughness and heart and energy and all of that. And I just think as long as you got Jalen Brunson, like this is hyperbole, but if you got Jalen Brunson and you got Josh Hart, like
I'm with you.
I just think they can fight you to a win over this team. I don't think they can do it against the Celtics. At some point, the talent discrepancy becomes a real problem.
Yep.
But can they win one of the next two against the Pacers, even this shorthanded? Yeah, I think so.
I think so,
and
too.
I think they will. Mike Wallace has been at the Combine in Chicago. He's back home. We'll talk to him about what he saw. He'll join me next.
I moved, I have a house now, house maintenance.
That's true.
Oh, Homeowners Association.
Association.
That was what your mom wanted to talk to me about. She was so proud that not only are you on the Homeowners Association, that you go to the meetings and know every issue.
We've had speed bump problems.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
I'm 10 feet ahead of you. Catch me is something you'll never do. I turn around and I level you. No motivation is needed. Look, I put myself on the pedestal. This is incredible.
Take your fandom to the next level with the official Grizzlies app. Go all access and behind the scenes.
It's got to be heavy defense. That's where it starts for us.
Personalized to where you are and who you are. Get easy access to ticketing, the game day guide, and your own app customization right at your fingertips. Upgrade your experience and download the Grizzlies app today.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now. For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
I will take High School Musical with my fifth and final pick because it is a sports movie. You do got to get your head in the game. I love High School Musical. I love musicals. Sports and musicals can coexist in this beautiful world. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. Even though High School Musical 1 is not even the best of the High School Musicals.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a good
is a
shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? She likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah,
You
or
like
nay?
Cheetos?
You like Cheetos?
For
kids, yeah, or nay?
That's what I mean. For kids,
For
1,000%.
kids, yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time or purple shoes. I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South, and on Wednesdays in the second segment, I'm joined by senior editor, Grind City Media. It's the great Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace, I appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you about the Combine in just a second, but I want to start with what happened last night in the NBA. I know you were traveling, so I'm not going to ask you to break down the second quarter of anything, but at this point, you know what Nikola Jokic did on a big stage after accepting, a third MVP in a 4-year span. Just what did you make? Some people are calling it the best performance of his career, and he's obviously had a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I defer to his teammates, when they talk about what he was able to do and what it meant. And they said on the stage like that, when he's handed that award, he's such a selfless guy that he didn't want to get involved in the emotion and all of the hoopla from the award. And because he was so focused on getting them a pivotal win. Going into last night, neither one of those teams had won a game on their home court. And Denver, I think, by a large stretch, reestablished themselves in what they represent in these NBA playoffs. I mean, this guy, he's quickly moving his way up into the top 15 in NBA history. I mean, I know we don't want to automatically put Jokic in there with the Hakeem Olajuwons, the guys like that. When you talk about maybe Shaq, and then you go even back further, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But at a certain point, you got to start moving Jokic up into that, that top 5, top 10 area of bigs, and definitely top, 15, 20 best players all time. And that performance last night added one to his resume.
Yeah, I read this morning. Who knows if they're going to go win another championship this year. They're obviously at this point favored to win the West, but the Celtics are still the favorite to win the title, perhaps because their path to the finals is presumably easier than what the Nuggets are going to have to deal with. Either way, what I read this morning was that he's already got 3 MVPs. He already has a finals championship and a finals MVP. If he were to win another title this year or any year and be a finals MVP again, and it's hard to ever imagine the Nuggets winning a title without him being the MVP, he would then have 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, and 3 MVPs. And there's like 5 dudes ever who have done that. He would really be in rare company.
Yeah, he would be. He would be. But I mean, Gary, you've been around this game for a long time as well, too. When you start adding it up and you start making your own list, like where does Jokic fall? Like where do you put him? Because
I think he's gonna,
even with those resumes,
I think he's going to land in the top 10 of all-time players. He will be a top 10 all-time player when this is done.
Regardless of position, not top 10 all-time big, top 10 all-time.
Regardless of position, he will at the very least have the accolades to suggest that's what he is. I know people watch him, and I saw an interview with Lil Wayne this morning, and he's like, I just don't like him because it's too old school for me. I know that he doesn't look like he's amazing, like on a surface level, but he's undeniably amazing. He did to the 4-time defensive player of the year last night. He made him look like a scrub. And the truth is, I don't think that's an indictment of Rudy Gobert. I think Jokic would have done that to literally anybody last night.
And under those circumstances, I completely agree. I mean, there's no defense for him because he's so exceptional in every area of the game. He's like one of those, what is it in baseball, 5-tool player where you can do everything at a level 10. And that's what he is. I mean, the one thing say that he doesn't, dominate in is on the defensive end. But the game right now doesn't have enough centers who are willing to go right at him to try to get him off the floor and in foul trouble. So the fact that he can stay in games for the most part without picking up fouls is also part of his brilliance.
I want to talk to you about the Combine. You've been in Chicago the past few days. The big story from yesterday was Bronny James speaking to the media, and I didn't realize this. For the first time ever, he had never been interviewed before yesterday, is what Brian Windhorst said this morning on ESPN. So just when you're in Chicago, what is the actual buzz about Bronny James being a legitimate NBA prospect, even if he even is?
No, I mean, I was in the building. I saw him scrimmage yesterday. I saw his media session. I was around him. The thing about it that stood out to me was that he felt comfortable. Like, regardless of whether his game is NBA ready or even NBA G League ready, his presence is. Like, he's comfortable in his own skin. He doesn't shy away from the spotlight in terms of shaking up in those moments. There were some guys who took that podium, in their respective interview sessions and just left a lot to be desired. I mean, in terms of just putting sentences together, establishing complete thoughts, knowing what they were there for. But Bronny was in that situation like he was a veteran. And, again, he doesn't, his measurements and what he did on day 1 of the Combine when he did the testing and drills, it made him look like he belonged there. Day 2 in his scrimmage, he wasn't remarkable. He was normal. He was typical. As a matter of fact, he didn't do anything to stand out at all yesterday. We'll see what he looks like today. But what I wonder is, what is his position? And if he's not a on-ball dominant facilitator, playmaker from that standpoint, I don't know if you could just put him out there as an off-ball guy that's going to run around, because you're not going to be able to create offense for him from that standpoint. So we'll see. I find it hard, Gary, to believe that he would go through this. Clutch would put him through this, and all of these things will go on with him saying he's going to, the intention is for him to stay in the draft. If he didn't already have some type of an agreement or an arrangement or a wink or something that would suggest, hey, if you fall to here, we'll take care of you and at least get you in our developmental system. He wouldn't be going through this just to fall flat and fail and not get drafted at all. I think there's something, in the works where he's going to be able to have a landing spot in the NBA. We'll just see where that is.
He will either get drafted or he will be signed by the Lakers. Like, one of those things will happen. But he'll be in the NBA in some form, a professional player next year. And I'm with you. I think you got it exactly right. I bet you they have a pretty good idea already of how this is going to play out. And so they've decided to go down this path, and the rest of us will find out on draft night. Elsewhere, among the other players in Chicago, David Jones, Memphis alum, who is still obviously going through the draft process, but maintaining his college eligibility. Penny is on the record saying, I think it's basically 70-30. He's coming back. I bring him up because, and this is the way the combine works sometimes, I saw somebody tweet yesterday, a lot of guys come to the combine every year and really help themselves. David Jones is not one of those guys. Now, I didn't have my eyes on it. I wasn't in the building, but reportedly he didn't do so well at the combine. That's not great for him, but it could be good news for the Tigers.
Well, what he did do well in was the shooting. You know what I mean? The shooting drills. He did look well. I think he was top 5 among that class on day 1 in some of the 3-point shooting drills and the way he had to score off the dribble. Those metrics, he looked phenomenal. They post the board in the main arena in Wintrust with all of the measurements of the top 10 guys in each category. And it's just an ongoing loop of what the scores were. And I kept looking up and I kept seeing David Jones. So, it's one of those things where he measured well, he shot well, but he didn't scrimmage well. And that's not a knock. Like I said about Bronny, that type of environment isn't conducive to showing what you can do. Very few guys can play in those scrimmages and really, really, really look good, because it's basically controlled chaos. Guys don't really know what the plays are. There's some skeleton sets that they're supposed to run through. They've never played with one another before, and everybody's trying to make a name for themselves. So what you want to do is show that, hey, you can at least look like you're in shape and in condition, and then maybe parlay that into a couple of invites where you can go to facilities and teams individually and do some workouts in more controlled environments. I think David will have an opportunity to do that, and then we'll see. That's where his true measurements will be in terms of whether he'll come back or stay in the draft.
Since I last talked to you, the Grizzlies have secured the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Reports are already out that they are open to moving it for a veteran more capable theoretically to help next season. Just what do you make of where we are with the Grizzlies in the 2024 NBA draft?
Being there in Chicago, being in the sequestered room, and then going out into the grand lobby area where the actual process took place in terms of the players and the selections, and everybody was there, Gary. You've been in these environments before where the entire league is all in one place. Agents, top players coming in, team executives, and everybody else. And so you hear things, you hear buzzes and all those kind of things. I'm not going to say I know what the Grizzlies are going to do, because I don't. I know what Zach Kleiman has repeatedly said, and that's that they're open for business. They're going to make the best pick available if it comes down to having to make a decision on the 26th of June, or they're going to trade that pick. And it could be both. They could make the best player available in that moment and still trade the pick. So, we'll see where it goes from there from that standpoint. But what I do know from executives across the league, the variance in mock drafts is consistent with the variance in what teams are going to do on draft night, because you just never know. And I'm gonna give one quick example, and this doesn't tip anything. Just take it for what it's worth from just my opinion. You look at the draft board, and the first thing you say was, okay, the Hawks doesn't necessarily need a big. They feel pretty good about their power forward and center position right now, especially when you look at who they have on the roster now. But they got to take Sarr, right? So after that, give me a team that has to take a big when you go down that list. San Antonio doesn't necessarily need a big. You certainly go to certain other teams, and maybe one other big goes off the board. So you're going to see guys that could go as high as 3 end up going 9. You're going to see a guy that's probably mocked at 9 or 10 that could go up to 3 or 4. I do know Detroit, and teams like Detroit and Charlotte really have no clear idea what they're going to be able to get since they fell back to the 5th and the 6th spots. I mean, they really had their sights set on top 4. They fell back, and now we'll see where they go from their situation. So it's going to be all over the place with this draft board.
As somebody who has been covering the draft for years, doing mock drafts for years, I can tell you I don't remember a year like this where the guy I think should go second, somebody else could put down as going 9th. I mean, the variance in there is pretty wild. Yeah. And that's why if you're the Grizzlies, typically if you're picking 9th, you go, okay, I know these 4 guys at least are off the board for sure. I don't know that you can say more than about 2 or 3 guys are going to definitely be off the board by 9. Obviously, Alex Sarr. I think Zachary Ricochet is probably gone. But everybody else, I bet you this. You could find a mock draft that has basically every other player or nearly every other player available at 9 other than those 2. And so when you're the Grizzlies, the evaluation process is going to be more expanded, I would assume, than it otherwise would be, because you really – like, you might think Stephon Castle won't be there at 9, but he could be. You might think Donovan Clingan not going to be there at 9, but he could be. You might think Reed Shepherd's not going to be there at 9, but he could be. So it's going to be a real interesting draft night, whether they hold on to that pick or not. I want to ask you about the 2-time National Player of the Year, Zach Edey. He was there, apparently shot it well, but maybe the most divisive prospect in the draft. I know some teams like him as a top 15 guy. I know others. I've had people tell me they wouldn't touch him in the first round. What is your assessment of Zach Edey, and what did you see from him in Chicago?
Man, like going in, I've defended Zach for being exactly what he is. I mean, he's a dominant big man, and we could talk so much about the era and how things have changed and what can he do for it. Like, if you like Zach Edey or you love Zach Edey, you're going to love Zach Edey. It's not like you're going to try to draft him to make him something that he's not. He's proven. I asked him this in the media session yesterday. I said, does it feel strange for you to have done everything you've done over the last 2 years to be one of the most dominant bigs productively that we've seen in NCAA history, and you still have to defend yourself in terms of whether you can play basketball in the NBA? And he kind of looked at me, never smiles, man, but he kind of looked at me, gave a nod, and was like, yeah, that's exactly how it feels. You know what I mean? But he said the thing about it is that only one team has to like me. And it's kind of funny because Tony Allen had told me the same thing a couple nights earlier when he was going through the draft 20 years ago in this process. You don't need 28 teams to vouch for you. You just need 1 or 2 to like you. And Edey feels confident that he knows the 2 or 3 teams that are intrigued by him, and he's going to feel confident in where he's going. And for him, it doesn't matter whether he goes 15, 19, or 7. Like, as long as he goes to the team that really wants to allow him to be who he is. And he has to make some adjustments. He got to get better foot speed. He's going to have to be able to play off the pick and roll a little bit better in some space. But when you throw the ball into him and you expect him to, go into the paint and score, rebound, be a rim deterrent, those are things that he does at an elite level. And not only does he feel that way, everybody else who he shared that media session with, the players, felt the same way about him too. Clingan talked glowingly about Zach Edey. Castle talked glowingly about Zach Edey because they had to go up against him. Some of the other bigs in the draft felt the same way. Even Sarr, who didn't play against him, but he had ultimate respect for him. So Zach controlled the room in his own way. It was quiet. It was deliberate. But it's going to be interesting to see where he falls on. I'm definitely looking to see how it ends up for him in the NBA draft.
Last thing before I let you go, he was quoted as saying, "I like Memphis, and I know Memphis likes me." Obviously, the Grizzlies have a need at center. Does that comment, does it mean anything to you?
Nah, because these guys, they're not going to say anything. They've been trained well enough. Now, even though, credit to the NBA, because I'm going to give the NBA and Tim Frank and all the organizers and everything that handled this Logistically, it was the most perfect setup that it can be. I've been covering this league for a long time. To have the combine and the lottery and all of the things logistically in that McCormick Place area in Chicago was fantastic. Wintrust Arena was through one tunnel. The convention center was through the other tunnel. Everybody was in one hotel for the most part, and all the business was done right there. But when players and agents are in close contact, all you have to do is walk out of one room and you'll see all the agents you need to see, all of the execs you need to see. But my point to this is that all of these guys had yet to have their meetings with teams. So most of them were saying the right things. Yes, I like all of these places, and I'm looking forward to all of these meetings, although I don't know what my agent has set up for me. So I think Zach played it well. Zach Edey played it well, and we'll see what it means. I don't know what it means for the Grizzlies right now, but, for him, I think he handled his situation pretty well.
That is Mike Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. Make sure you're reading everything, grindcitymedia.com. Also, he's on X, at My Mike Check. That's at My Mike Check. I appreciate your time, buddy. Get some rest. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. That's Mike Wallace from Grind City Media. Can I interest you in a Zach Edey?
Not at 9.
Not at 9, but what if you want to trade down and you could get him at 18?
Yeah, I don't think that – it's funny because when you look at the playoffs and you just think of, the best version of this Grizzlies team – I do think that there's a potential scenario where you look up next season if we're in the playoffs and your closing lineup is Jaren Jackson Jr., Brandon Clark. And so this center of the future that's going to help this team, I don't know if that person is really out there. I think the most likely scenario is it's probably a guy that could end up getting played off the court in a playoff series. And so yeah, I mean, at some point, yes, someone's going to take him, and I think he's going to provide some value to a team. It's just what level of value are you looking for?
I don't object to the idea of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not do it at 9 because I don't believe he's the 9th best prospect in this draft.
Right.
I don't believe he's a top 15 prospect in this draft. I'm happy to be wrong about it. I think he's really hard to evaluate, really hard to evaluate because he's playing a kind of basketball at an overwhelming level, but in a way that you don't see it that often in the NBA anymore. And so he's a hard evaluation, I think. And that's why, I mean, you'll see some people say he should go in the top 10 and other people say he should not go in the top 30.
Right.
That's not something you often hear about prospects, a variance that wide. But just the idea of Zach Edey on the Grizzlies, I'm not offended by that. I could actually imagine how it would work.
Yes.
He's setting screens for Ja Morant, and then on the defensive end, you let Jaren just float around, and you got a 7'4" guy.
He's getting you 10 rebounds. Yeah.
I wouldn't take him at 9, but if you move down to 20 and he's sitting there, would I think about it? Of course I would.
Yeah.
Maybe even slightly higher than that. And if you believe in him, and I'm not certain how the Grizzlies front office, whether they believe in Zach Edey or not, but I did think that was at least notable. He said, I like Memphis and I know they like me. I don't know that he knows every NBA team likes him because I promise you every NBA team doesn't. But he did say those words yesterday.
Yeah.
I know Memphis likes me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think he would just throw that out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Now, I didn't see the video of this interaction. And sometimes these players are led down paths where they provide quotes and you're like, ooh, does that mean something? It's like, he was just talking. He was just giving the person. It happens all the time in recruiting. I'd see it at ABCD camp or, Peach Jam, wherever. And you'd have, somebody from a North Carolina recruiting site sitting there talking to a player and they'd be like, so what do you think of North Carolina? And the guy'd be like, well, Michael Jordan played there. North Carolina's amazing. And then you got your quote, North Carolina's amazing, says the number 1 prospect in America.
Right.
But what does that even mean, right? So I don't know how this was presented to Zach Edey, but I did think it was at least notable on some level that he said something along the lines of, I know Memphis likes me. Because that would suggest to me that somebody, his agent probably, has said, the Grizzlies are kind of interested. He could be somebody who ends up here for a workout.
And not even moving. They have a couple second rounders. Maybe you move up.
Yeah.
I mean, the Grizzlies have moved up in the draft before and gotten in the first round. So maybe maybe they've got their guy at 9, and then they target him later if he falls.
We'll see. It'll be fun. I like this stuff. I
do too,
I like the
man.
lead up to the draft. You can have a bunch of conversations and imagine a bunch of things, and almost all of it proves to be a big waste of time. You know, but it gets us through the days. It gets us through the days.
No, I like it. You especially when you've got a team that's already that is supposed to be good going into next season. Like this draft's a little more fun because it doesn't feel like the stakes are necessarily as high, and so you can really have fun with guys that you oh hey, I could see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like I'm reminded of this every year. It's interesting. My 2 primary responsibilities with CBS Sports revolve around college basketball and the NBA draft, right? And both of these things, these things that you cover, the people that you talk about and write about, they just come and go so quickly. Like I don't get to spend 8 years with Nikola Jokic talking and writing about Nikola Jokic. It's typically college basketball players that are gone in 1 year. Those are usually the stars. Not so much now with name, image, and likeness keeping players in school, but you get the point. You know, you write and talk about Zion Williamson, and then he's gone. Same thing with draft prospects. I will spend countless words this month and next month talking about Jared McCain and talking about Oso Ighodaro and talking about Zachary Ricochet. And then, like, you know what happens? I almost never talk about them again.
Yeah.
Because most of these people who are going to get drafted in the first round, most of them become nothing. Even the first round picks, most of them become nothing. They become people you never talk about again. And it's just a weird way to spend your time. I will talk about Jared McCain nearly every day between now and the draft. And then, you know, I hope this isn't true, but like there's a good chance I'll never talk about him again. You know, just never talk about him again. That's weird. It's been so the way draft conversations go. You talk about all these. What if this? Well, what about that? Well, how'd you think of this? And what would you make of that? And it's almost always just wasted energy.
Yeah,
you're just talking about stuff that's never going to happen. But it's a good way to get through the days. I have a good time with it. Appreciate Mike Wallace being here. He was traveling late last night, so it's nice for him to jump on with us this morning. When we come back, some, I guess, big news in college basketball yesterday. We hinted at it at the end of yesterday's show because it was being reported that Doug Gottlieb was emerging as a candidate to be the next head coach at Green Bay. He is now the next head coach at Green Bay. It's official, but there's a twist. We sort of got into a conversation yesterday about, well, I guess now a big national radio job is open at Fox Sports Radio because, like, you know, surely he's not going to do both. He's going to try to do both.
Okay.
Run a Division I men's basketball program and do a 2-hour daily radio show. I wish him luck, but I can tell you, I've been doing one of those things for a long time, and I don't know that you can run a Division I men's basketball program while also doing one of those things for a long time. But I wish him luck. We'll get into that next. It's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's number 1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
Well, how long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You had 7 games where you had 5 assists or more. Do you know how many times prior to that in your NBA career you have had 5 assists in a game? Twice. How about that? You're playmaking, Jared. Playmaking, Jared.
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd's crazy. Trip Kidd is crazy.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
This is an actual good shoe.
Yeah, it looks like
this
a good
is a
shoe.
real good shoe.
What you think about him, KJ? She likes Cheetos.
Like Cheetos?
Yeah,
You like
nice.
Cheetos?
You like Cheetos?
For
kids, yeah.
That's what I mean. For kids,
For kids,
1,000%.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I was still playing basketball, I played in brightly colored shoes. I wore pink shoes a lot of the time or purple shoes. Like, I like that. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
Lindsey Harding has gotten a chance to interview for the Charlotte Hornets vacancy.
She's proven that she could coach on the men's side. She's done a fantastic job and got this G League opportunity and was Coach of the Year. This is fantastic for women's basketball.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
What we speculated on yesterday is now official. Doug Gottlieb is the new head coach at Green Bay. A little bit of a twist. He has also confirmed he's going to keep his job as a radio host for Fox Sports Radio. It's a 2-hour radio show 5 times a week while running a Division I men's basketball program. You optimistic this is going to go well?
Probably not. Yeah. It could be good for promoting Green Bay, though.
Except here's the problem, and like I was saying, you cannot go on your national radio show and talk about Green Bay basketball
in the A block
or in the D block, in any block. And all of our instincts. Maybe not all of us. I shouldn't include everybody in it. But your instincts are to talk about what you know and what you're living and what you're enjoying and what you're doing. I think I do it more than most.
Yeah.
But you can't go talk about Green Bay basketball on Fox Sports Radio. Nobody cares, right?
That's right.
So, like, you need to be talking about the Cowboys and the 49ers and the Chiefs. And like, I just don't know how you can do both of these things effectively. Like, obviously, Doug can effectively host a radio show. He's been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I don't have any real opinion about whether he can effectively run a basketball program. But I'm open-minded to it. I mean, I don't have any idea. Sometimes people who have never done this do well. Sometimes people who have never done this don't do well. Mm-hmm. Hiring at the mid-major level is always risky. So we'll see. But I'm not sitting here saying Doug Gottlieb's going to fail because he can't run a basketball program. I don't know that. What I do know is that hosting a 2-hour radio show every day is like real time consuming. Mm-hmm. And I'm not certain how you can do that well and then also run a Division I men's basketball program well. There are times during the season, if I'm just being honest, where I don't feel like I'm doing anything well because I'm doing so many things. Like I have this moment of self-doubt and maybe self-hate even, where I feel like I'm working myself to death, but I don't feel like I'm doing anything well because I'm doing too much. It's just there's so much to do. I'm spread too thin. And I always get through it. And I hope it's never as bad as I imagine it in my head.
Right.
But I do start to feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm not spending enough time on any one thing because I got too many things to spend time on. But here's the difference. I'm still kind of all working under the same umbrella of things, which is I'm talking about stuff happening within the sports world. Mm-hmm. And so that's easier to manage, I would assume, than trying to actually run a basketball program and everything that is involved in that. And you got to do a 2-hour show. Because here's the other thing about a 2-hour show. It ain't just 2 hours of time commitment. I mean, everybody does everything different ways, but on a normal day, I'll spend more time getting ready for this show than I will spend doing the show. If I'm going to be here for an hour 45 on a normal day, whatever, I'll spend more time than that getting ready for the show. So it's not just, well, it's only 2 hours a day. No, it probably should be about 4 hours a day, maybe even more. And you talk to any college basketball coach, especially during the season, they'll tell you they're so overwhelmed. Like, if you ever try to call an ACC coach and ask him about a Big Ten game from last night, they're like, what are you talking? I don't have no idea what's going on in that league. I know what's going on with my team and the people we're playing, and I just don't have time for anything else. That's what coaches tell you. And Doug's going to have time to do a 2-hour radio show every day?
I don't think so.
I just think, I bet you this, in 1 year he will not be doing both of these jobs.
I agree.
Because he will find out, even if he can do it, he will find out that his life would be so much more manageable to just pick one. Pick this one thing, whatever it is, and pursue it. But trying to do both of these things, I just think it feels like it's too much. Maybe he'll knock it out of the park, and I'll be rooting for him, I guess. But I don't know, man. It seems like
it also feels like
very
there's
difficult.
a bit of a conflict of interest once college basketball season rolls around, and that's like a big topic on talk radio.
Well, you are going to get Doug Gottlieb, college basketball commentator. He might not be talking about Green Bay basketball on Fox Sports Radio on a random Thursday during the season, but he will be talking about Duke, and he will be talking about North Carolina and Kansas. So what if John Shire does something? Is the head coach at Green Bay going to go on national radio and criticize the head coach at Duke?
I know.
It's very unusual.
It is.
The lines are blurred. Matt Norlander said this to me yesterday when we were talking about it. Like, he's not comfortable with a coach working in the media. And I'm just like, I get it, I guess, if you want to hold on to old school journalism rules or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Deion kind of does it.
Well, I mean, Draymond Green was on the media last night.
That's right.
You know, Draymond Green was there criticizing Rudy Gobert on TV last night.
Right.
So how far removed is Doug Gottlieb from that, right? It's a basketball coach, also as a member of the media, and with Draymond, you get a basketball player who is also an active member of the media. So I'm not offended by, are we blurring lines between the media and whatever? Because it's just not really a thing anymore. It used to be when I was coming up.
It's not. You're right.
Like, I was a graduate of the University of Memphis, and I had, I was proud. I was proud of my alma mater. So my license plate was a University of Memphis license plate, right? When I became the beat writer at the Commercial Appeal, I took that off my car. I didn't want my kids, at this point I only had one, Aiden, he was never photographed or out and about, like in Memphis gear, or, my wife went to Ole Miss gear. I wouldn't do any of it because I was so worried about the optics. Like, if a Memphis fan sees my kid in Ole Miss gear, how is that going to play on a Memphis message board? Or if a Memphis fan sees my kid in Memphis gear, or other fans see my kid in Memphis gear, how's that going to play? Now I just don't care about that. My kids will be in Mississippi State stuff one day, Ole Miss stuff the next day, Memphis stuff the next day, Grizzlies stuff, Mets stuff. I just don't care. I don't know whether it was Bill Simmons or Scott Van Pelt, or somebody else, but somewhere along the way, it became acceptable to be a fan and a reporter, be a fan and a sports commentator. And so I'm not offended by, is this really okay? A coach working in the media? My objection to it is simply from a time, the time consumption that it takes to do both of these jobs. I don't know how a normal person could do both of these things well. Maybe he's so great that he'll be able to do both of these things great, but I wouldn't try it. If I were trying to break into college coaching, you know what I'd be trying to do? Focused on college coaching.
Yeah.
Not focused on, the Timberwolves lost last night and I got to spend 20 minutes. Like, that's what I did last night. I watched a basketball game, then I thought about what I wanted to say about it, then I put it down and organized my thoughts, and then I, came in studio and I delivered my thoughts. I had time for that. If I were running a basketball program, particularly in the middle of the season, I don't know how you have time to do all of those things. But like I said, I wish him luck.
Number 2.
Caitlin Clark made her WNBA debut last night. It was on national television. It was against the Connecticut Sun. You took the Indiana Fever. I told you that felt like maybe
it was so, and you know what's so stupid about that is I laid it all out. Like I was like, okay, well they got swept by the Connecticut Sun last year, but some of the games were close, and Connecticut also went to the second round of the playoffs, and the Fever were the worst team. And then I somehow convinced myself to go with Caitlin Clark and the Fever. I don't know why.
Oh, you got because you
I did.
You just wanted it to be special.
I got the Fever.
You got the Fever.
Yeah.
So you went with the Fever.
Yep.
And then she was 5 of 15 from the field, 10 turnovers.
Yeah.
10 turnovers is outrageous. Franchise record. She already has her first Indiana Fever franchise record.
Yeah.
10 turnovers in a game. That never happened before.
It'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out this season because obviously she's so top of mind and is a great player, and she's going to be a great player in the WNBA, but that team's probably going to be bad this year. I mean, they were the worst team in that league last year. They probably need more than just Caitlin Clark to get to the top of the WNBA,
Of course.
right?
Yeah. Well, look at the Spurs. They just had Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, and they were
stink.
bad. Yeah.
Right. They stunk before him, and they added him, and he's amazing, but they still stink.
Yeah, so it'll be just interesting to see if they're bad all season. Will this huge Caitlin Clark phenomenon be a thing throughout the WNBA season? I will say, like, I saw more, not just because of that game, but just the league in general was getting a lot of love last night, just all around.
Like I had it on, and you know what was interesting? I wasn't focused on it, but I just had it on a screen. But it's like, okay, that game's over. Caitlin Clark's game's over, but there's another one on, and I just had that one on too. Now, I don't know who won it. I don't know anything about it, but it was in front of me. So I had the WNBA on in front of me last night.
Mm-hmm.
That is the Caitlin Clark effect. Mm. But you're exactly right. Like, where does this thing go and she's going to be great. She was the number one pick in the draft, but the number one pick in the draft isn't usually great immediately in anything.
Mm-hmm.
In anything. First pick in the Major League Baseball draft, we don't even see that dude for at least a year, usually longer. Right. The number one pick in the NBA draft, every once in a while it's Victor Wembanyama, and that's amazing, but team still stunk, and it's not like he was a first-team All-NBA or anything like that. First pick in the NFL draft, go look at how that went last year. Quarterback in Carolina. So it's interesting with her. She's such a big phenomenon that we're all watching and we all have high expectations, but it's like this doesn't usually go smoothly, particularly when you're joining a trash team. So what happens when we all tune in last night and we'll all tune into the next one, but eventually she going to be shooting poor percentages for a team that's like 1-8, 2-6 or whatever. Do we still watch it? Do we still care? You know what it could be exactly like? Remember Colorado football last year?
Yeah.
At the beginning, man, it was all eyes.
That's true.
Everybody, and then it was like, well, they're not winning, and in fact, they're getting beat pretty badly, and this ain't fun no more. Like the number of people who are watching, like Colorado football games were a big thing at the beginning of the year. But then once it was like, well, they're not very good, it became less of a thing, and people just didn't completely stop watching, but it certainly it tapered off. Mm-hmm. I wonder if that will also happen with the WNBA. We're all like interested in it, but once Caitlin Clark isn't one of the immediate 10 best players in the world, and the team stinks, then do you keep watching a bad basketball team with, somebody who was the number one pick and a college star, but still needs to grow into being a high-level professional player? Do you still watch that? Maybe in Indiana you do, but I think the best night for the WNBA season might have been like last night or the Caitlin Clark's first home game, which is coming up. And after that, I really do think they could settle in. I don't know how they navigate that because they have built like an entire thing around her. They're on TV more than the Aces, the Fever are. And people were really offended by that. Mm-hmm. So this is it ain't going away. Like you're just going to be flipping on ESPN2 and it's going to be there. So what do you do? Do you still care if she's not immediately great and the team stinks? I don't know. But that's the WNBA's problem. It's not my problem.
Right.
I'm going to let them figure it out.
Okay.
Number 3.
Tom Brady has spoken for the first time about the Netflix roast that he participated in. And surprise, surprise, you know what he said? I would never do that again, and I wish I would not have done it. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't mind, and this makes total sense to me. Mm-hmm. He said he didn't mind people making fun of him, right? Like deflate gate jokes, fine. You look like a robot, whatever. But he didn't like, because he said he learned as a parent through this experience. Like he says, I learned something as a parent and perhaps as an ex-husband as well. through this experience, I didn't anticipate what this would do to the people I love the most. This hurt my children. Like, my children were impacted by this. And because now, these are my words, not his, but what he was implying is my children were excited their dad was on Netflix, and they turned it on and they just watched a bunch of people talk about their mom banging the karate coach. And I don't care who your mom is.
Yeah.
And I don't care, like, nobody wants, when you're a kid, you don't want to hear that, right? You just don't. Like I've said this before, when you're a kid, even if your mother is an actual whore, like accepts money for sex, you don't want to hear that, right? You don't want to hear your mom's a whore. Nobody wants to hear that.
No.
When you're a kid, right?
Correct.
Like, if you want to pick on the other kid, you know what sometimes you say? Something about their mama.
Yeah.
People don't like people talking about their mama.
No, they don't.
And so there's Tom Brady's kids watching TV. Oh, look, Dad's the Netflix roast. Is just people talking about your mom nonstop. He says he didn't anticipate how that would go down, which is kind of crazy because the most obvious place to roast Tom Brady is about his divorce and about unretiring and then immediately watching his marriage fall apart. Like, I don't particularly think it's funny. I think it's sad. Like, there are kids involved and divorces are difficult. I find it sadder than I find humor. I find it more sad than humorous. But you got to know, if you're going to a roast and Jeff Ross is there and Kevin Hart is there and Nikki Glazer's there, I mean, they're looking for the best material, and that's where it is. You unretired, your wife said F you, took the kids, left, and started banging her karate coach.
Yeah.
That's where we're starting.
That's where we're starting.
That's where the good stuff is. It's why I actually thought, because what we have found out, Robert Kraft was supposed to be off limits. You know who else was supposed to be off limits? Kim Kardashian. They didn't even tell people she was coming because they didn't want people joking about her.
About him and her hooking up.
About just her in general. You notice nobody made Kim Kardashian jokes except Tom Brady. And even his was more of a Kanye West joke than a Kim Kardashian joke.
Interesting.
People, like, the crowd booed her, but the roasters didn't take shots at her. And after Jeff Ross, they didn't take shots at Robert Kraft. So they did put rules in place for this thing. I thought for sure one of the rules would be stay away from the
wife and kids.
At least the wife and the jiu-jitsu coach. Like, that's my kid's mother. Stay away from that, right?
Well,
clown me, but stay away from my kid's mom, because I don't want my kids sitting around hearing these people make fun of their mom. Because in some cases, it really they were clowning Tom Brady, but they were also clowning Giselle. Like, I understood why she was disappointed, and I totally understand why Tom Brady. I thought it would be off limits, that stuff. Like, he would, and for him to now acknowledge, not only was Giselle and that stuff fair game, I didn't even think it through enough to think that I needed to maybe talk to somebody about that.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have heard these jokes in advance, I would have said, no, we cannot do this. My question is, like, why didn't you anticipate those would be the jokes? Like, if somebody told me you got to roast Tom Brady, like, that's where I'd start. That's the place to do it, right? So it was just on a tee, and he didn't even realize it was on a tee. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen a roast, Tom?
That's what I'm saying. They go for your neck.
And the thing,
like, if you're fat, then it's fat jokes.
Yeah.
If you're, Kim Kardashian, it's like, if there's going to be
if you're divorced, it's divorce jokes.
Right.
Like, it's going to be the most personal, like, hurtful things.
They're going to hurt you.
No, and I think that probably to an extent, like, dude, I'm pretty sure him and Giselle, like, I'm sure that relationship ain't great.
It doesn't appear to be.
It doesn't appear to be. And so when you're going into it, in your head, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to have to get, we're going to get her back a little bit.
Well, okay.
Like, she ruined my life. I'm about to.
So I wonder if that's the other side of it. He can now say, ooh, I didn't like that. But, like,
before it happens, you have in your head, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to let Jeff Ross make fun of Giselle
now
he's
saying, like, I didn't realize it was going to go down like that. What if the truth is, going into it, man, if they bust up Giselle a little bit about that karate teacher, that won't make me mad,
Right.
But then you watch it go down and you're like, ugh, this is too much.
Yeah.
This is too much.
Yep.
That seems more believable to me than the other stuff. That actually sounds believable to me. Giselle is, like, we've gone through a not so easy divorce very publicly. I'm sure some hurtful things have been said, right? And really, when people talk about that divorce, a very public, high-profile divorce, most people take shots at Tom, not her. Most people are like, yo, man, she told you she needed help with the kids, and you kept wanting to play football.
Right.
And I don't even know if that's the truth, right?
Right.
Like, but that
was the story.
That's the narrative.
Yep.
All right, so most people are clowning Tom Brady about the divorce. Like, yeah, you came back and, went under 500, lost your family. Congrats, genius. So maybe you've been listening to a year of that, and it's like, all right, if somebody wants to now bang on Giselle about her karate teacher, all right, let's let her get a couple of these jokes off as well. So you go into it with that mindset, but then you're like, as it's happening, you're like, oh, man, this is bad.
Yeah.
That's
what I think happened.
I think that seems more believable.
Yep.
That seems more believable. I think we figured it out. I think we solved this mystery.
I'm ready for the next one.
Me too. Oh, did you hear who it might be?
Who?
And I cannot believe he would do this.
Who?
But they said the leading candidate to be the next Netflix roast. And I was like, he cannot do it. Tiger Woods.
There is no way.
I mean,
there is no way.
Because he's got everything. There is like his personal life. I mean, it's drug stuff. It's everything.
That would be the most viewed roast of all time.
Yeah.
No, without question.
I can't.
It would do way bigger numbers than Brady just because you never see anything from Tiger. Like I guess you didn't really from Brady either, but you never get anything from Tiger. And to see him on that stage, dude, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing.
There's no way.
But he still has youngish kids too, teenage kids. And do you really want your teenage kids hearing everything that Jeff Ross and Nikki Glazer are going to say about you?
There is no way Tiger Woods watched that Tom Brady roast and is like, oh, I could do that. No way.
That's what I think.
No way.
That's what I think. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Number 4.
Juan Soto made Major League Baseball history yesterday. Do you know what he did? He walked for the 669th time. And do you know why that is
nice
a record?
Huh.
Because nobody has ever walked more in the history of Major League Baseball before turning 26 years old than Juan Soto. He broke the record previously held by fellow Yankee great Mickey Mantle.
How about that?
Juan Soto.
I mean, it makes sense.
He is awesome.
He's dangerous.
I heard Jeff Passan talking about him one time, and Passan said that when you talk to baseball people about Juan Soto, like this isn't a sexy thing to talk about. Like, ooh, he really does see the ball well. But they say nobody they've ever seen sees the ball out of the hand better than Juan Soto. He picks it up.
I can buy that.
He sees it quicker and more consistently than anybody else sees it. So when you're watching a normal baseball game, you'll hear a play-by-play guy or a color analyst a million times say, oh, like he fooled him there. Oh, he fooled him there. Oh, he was looking for a breaking ball and he fooled him and gave him, you don't really hear that with Juan Soto. You don't fool him. He doesn't have to guess a lot because he can see it. A lot of these guys, they have to guess. He didn't have to guess. He could see it. And they say his what he sees, it's not like what you would see or what I would see or even what other elite Major League Baseball players would see. He's like in a category 1 of 1 of seeing the ball out of the hand. And that's why he draws so many walks. You're scared to pitch to him, and you can't really get him to chase bad stuff too often because he right out of your hand, he knows whether it's bad stuff or good stuff. So he doesn't swing at bad stuff too often. So he walks a lot, more so than anybody, before turning 26. Congrats to him. I remember when I used to daydream about the Mets maybe getting here. That didn't work out.
No. Sorry, dude.
It's all right.
Number 5.
Netflix has made it official. Guess where you're watching Christmas football?
On Netflix.
That's right.
Yep.
How many people you think are subscribed to Netflix? Because I saw when this post is like, but what about the people who don't have Netflix? Well, who doesn't have Netflix?
I was going to say it's got to be the number 1 streaming service people are subscribed to by a lot.
How many subscribers do you think?
Is it in the? I won't say. I'll say
worldwide.
150 million.
276 million.
Damn.
Now, so this is where people get lost a little bit. They go, "Oh my, you're putting this on Netflix. What about the people who don't have Netflix?" And I should say, I know there are people who don't have Netflix. There are people who quite literally can't afford Netflix. I shouldn't be dismissive of that.
They do keep raising those prices.
What are we paying for Netflix these days?
Oh, dude, I think we're like I think we're past the $20 threshold. Yeah. I think we're past the 20.
They could.
I don't, dude.
They could change.
I know.
That's the thing they can do. They can always just jack up the prices, and how often,
I will never know.
I'll never know. I have no idea what I pay for Netflix or anything else.
Dude, I've gotten to the point. It is outrageous. Like I have everything, and I don't even need it, and I don't even watch half of it. But I swear, like, I get the worst FOMO when it comes to this kind of stuff. And so if there's like one thing once a year that's on Apple TV Plus or something like that, it's like I gotta have it.
Right? Yeah, we have
such a waste.
We have everything.
Yeah,
and what every once in a while you'll get an email, and it'll come from like Hulu or something.
Yeah,
and it'll be like, just letting you know, our prices are going up. We're no longer charging you. I'm making up numbers here. $8.99. It'll now be $10.99.
Yeah.
How many people at that point go, all right, that's enough. We're canceling this.
No one does. And you know what I do?
And so they could do it whenever they want to.
They could do it whenever
they
they
could
want.
change my Netflix price every day, and I wouldn't even take the time to notice.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like more people are like that than not.
You know what I do to save a little money?
What do you do to save a little money?
I do the ads.
What does that mean?
Like I'd get the plans where you have to watch the ads.
No, that's infuriating.
Yeah. No, dude.
That's like going to a theme park and not having a fast pass.
You're
standing in line watching ads.
I've convinced myself that it's because when we were younger, like what you watch a show and you got to sit through all the commercials. Like you don't have DVR or anything like that. So I've just convinced myself, oh, it's nostalgic. Like I'm sitting through the commercials.
No, you're standing in line
and saving money.
You're standing in line waiting for Space Mountain. You know what I'm doing? I'm in that fast pass line.
Right at the front.
I'm going right through. I even did do the YouTube without ads. I got so sick of ads on YouTube.
No, man. You give me the ads.
Nah, man.
Give me that ads and that cheaper price.
That's the thing, man. There's like for $2 more a month, you'll never have to watch a commercial again. Done.
No. I'll watch the commercials. I don't care.
I'll tell you the one I run into that's real problematic. And this is real first world problem stuff. I have a bundle package of ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu.
Okay, what are we going to do about this?
We need to figure out what we're going to do
because
about this.
Now they're about to add Max, and then there's going to be another one with Peacock and Apple and somebody else. What are we going to do here?
Here's my problem. This is a real problem I ran into this season. It's not a problem right now because I'm not traveling as much. But when I'm traveling and trying to keep up to date on stuff, this is a real problem. So they give you the basic packages for all of those in the bundle. All right? Well, on Netflix, you can download stuff. Apple TV Plus, you can download stuff. Max, you can download stuff.
Disney Plus, you can
download stuff. Hulu, the basic package,
you can't download stuff.
You can't download.
Same with Peacock.
So I try to upgrade to the give me the Hulu where I can download stuff so I can watch these things on planes.
But it's not part of your package.
It's not part of my package, and I haven't been able to figure out how to make it part of a package.
Dude, the packaging thing is a problem because I have had multiple occasions where it's like, because maybe before the bundle happened, like I got Disney Plus originally, but then I wanted to add ESPN Plus to it, but then I wanted Hulu too. And then sometimes it'll get all out of, like, it's like, well, your Hulu subscription is about, I'm like, my Hulu subscription is part of the damn bundle. What are we talking about?
I'm so confused.
Like,
I'm always confused.
And that's the thing. And I swear they're stealing my money because I'm just like, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just don't cancel it.
Yeah, just whatever, man. Whatever. It's it. So here's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Before we got off on.
No, this bundle thing's an issue.
It's a real issue.
Yeah.
And I know everybody has their own challenges in life.
But this is one of my bigger challenges. Yeah.
This is one of mine. Like, I cannot download on Hulu. And I know everybody's got their own things going on in their lives, right? I'm not trying to make this all about me.
I got it.
But not being able to download Hulu is a real... You think your life's going pretty well.
And
then you realize you can't download anything on Hulu, and it's like...
Yeah.
You know, life's filled with ups and downs.
Yes.
This is one of the downs. 276 million people subscribe to Netflix. I saw some folks be like, well, you can't just take NFL games on Christmas and put them on Netflix. Like, it's one thing to have them on ESPN, but everybody has ESPN. Not everybody has Netflix. Way more people have Netflix than ESPN.
Yes.
Do you know what ESPN's numbers are now? Around 70 million.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the last time I saw, it was just a comparison of all of them. Netflix was far and away the most subscribed of any of the streaming services.
But like, it is easy. More people have access to Netflix than ESPN at this point.
Right.
And it's not even close. And
they're part of the Are they part of the bundle? There's 2 new bundles coming.
Yeah, I can't keep track.
There's 2 new bundles coming. So
yeah, I don't know.
They're going to be part of one of them, though.
I can't keep track.
So you can bundle your Netflix with the other stuff, make it easier on yourself, or way harder. We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard.
We're still navigating.
We're
this.
still trying to figure it out ourselves. Yeah. So anyway, Christmas, we're going to have a double header on Christmas Day.
Yep.
It'll be streamed on Netflix.
Okay.
And we will find out what those games are going to be tonight in the schedule release announcement television show.
I would be willing to bet that they are not great games.
They say they're going to be marquee games.
Really?
Yeah.
Because Germany, they gave Germany Panthers Giants.
Yeah, but that's Germany. We fight them in wars.
I guess that's true.
We'll fight Germany in wars.
Jeez, that's how you want to introduce the league to Germany again, is with Panthers Giants?
Yeah, Germany's just happy we ain't bombing them.
I guess.
They'll take whatever we give them. Netflix, they're in a different place. I think Netflix can ask for things as opposed to just take whatever you give them. They say it's going to be 2 marquee games. Christmas, you know what it falls on? Day of the week, Wednesday. We're on Wednesday football games.
How about that?
So you're going to have to, how you do that? You buy the week before and a buy after? Or do you play Thursday? That's what's going to happen. One of these teams is going to play Thursday the week before.
Right.
And then play again on Wednesday. And the other team,
I don't know how that's going to work. Middle of the week is wild.
Is going to have to do a bye week. I bet you this. And I don't know anything about NFL scheduling, so I'm just talking at this point. I bet you this though. Let me just bet on something I don't even know what I'm talking about. I bet you. But you got 4 teams playing on Christmas Day.
I know.
You're gonna have 2 of them will play each other the week before on Thursday night,
and then the other 2. Yep,
and
that's right.
And the other 2 will have buys the week before, and then maybe meet on Monday night.
Yep, I could totally see that.
Something like that. Did I just?
I think you solved the NFL's problems. Call Goodell right now.
Should I be working for the NFL?
Get on the phone.
I should get on the phone with Roger Goodell. I bet they already have it figured out. I bet they already know what they're doing. But it's going to be hilarious tonight if they announce the schedule and people are all like, what are they doing? This is so stupid. Yeah. And I actually had a better solution right now just off the top of my head.
Dude, and you know what?
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something. Like Netflix, you got to give them a lot of credit for this because they're the last to kind of get in this sports world. They really are.
They've done some live golf
they've
stuff.
They've done some, but they really, live events has not really been their thing, and they're really starting to get into it now. And it's smart on their part because what happened was Netflix became so popular and became this top streaming service. And then all these other companies were like, whoa. Why are we letting Netflix use our content when we have all this IP? We're going to take it, put it on our own streaming services, take it away from Netflix, bring Netflix down. And now Netflix is pretty much saying, okay, well, I'll watch this. Well, we'll put the NFL on Christmas Day.
There you go.
Yeah.
No. And for the NFL, for Netflix rather, I think it's brilliant. Like you've already got people who are just subscribed to the content that you have.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of people. All right. How do we get more? At this point, we probably got all the people who just like television shows and stuff, movies. How do we get more people? Football fans. People can't, if the NFL's on, the people who care about the NFL, which is a lot, they can't not watch it.
Right.
You watch every NFL game that's on TV.
It doesn't matter. I'll watch Giants, Panthers in Germany at 6 a.m.
You'll watch anything.
Yep.
So there will be people who subscribe to Netflix who have never done it for whatever reason. But now, if you're going to watch football on Christmas Day, you have to. So they will. So I think it works for everybody.
Yep.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Too. Just got to figure out how to download Hulu.
Dude, good luck. Yeah, good luck. I tried to do that the other day.
It's tough. It's tough. Be back with GP's Carryout.
I will take High School Musical with my 5th and final pick because it is a sports movie. You do got to get your head in the game. I love High School Musical. I love musicals. Sports and musicals can coexist in this beautiful world. What a beautiful, beautiful movie. Even though High School Musical 1 is not even the best of the High School Musicals.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Hey Grizzlies fans, after exciting hoops and a lucky night of gaming, where do you rest your head? Look no further than Southland Casino Hotel, proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies. Our high-rise hotel is the epitome of luxury and comfort. Picture this, you've just finished an evening of gaming and dining, so you head on over to one of our 300 rooms to end the night. Choose from standard, suite, and presidential suite, plus we're pet-friendly and offer mobility scooters for rent. It's a seamless experience for everyone. And don't miss the Main Street Exchange, right in the heart of our casino lobby. Whether you're craving a snack or need a souvenir of your stay, we've got you covered. From polo shirts to shot glasses, take a piece of the Southland excitement home with you. So come stay and play at Southland Casino Hotel, where every moment is designed for your enjoyment. Book your hotel stay by calling 833-703-3350 or visit online at southlandcasinohotel.com/hotel.
Guests must be 21 years of age or older to check in at hotel. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God,
Nikola Jokic.
Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I am so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese is rough. I don't know if you've been there in a while. They look like they're trying to go to business and they can't.
All new material.
They filed for bankruptcy and they're still open. They called Blockbuster and they're like, how do you get out? We want out.
Nate Bargatze. Friday, May 31st, FedEx Forum. Tickets available at FedEx Forum Box Office or Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Outback Presents Nate Bargatze, the Be Funny Tour.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built for Tough studio. It's another overcast day outside. Bennett, these are you.
Love it.
These are you. Love everything about this.
I love it, man.
It just
give me dark and gloomy every day.
Yeah, I don't even mind it myself. You know, I just notice
Isn't it relaxing?
It is a little relaxing.
Yeah.
You know, but
I mean, we listen to rain noises on our little noise machines. So
do you possess a noise machine? Do you ever use
five?
Do you ever use the apps?
Yeah.
Like the Calm app?
Yeah, and then I wake up. Dude, my wife uses. I can't stand that.
The apps?
No, the ones where they tell the stories.
They talk to you?
Bro, the worst. I hate those. They keep me awake. They don't put me in.
Well, she has to put AirPods in. She can't make you listen to the same thing.
No, she makes me listen to it.
That's not fair.
She just plays it on the speaker. And dude,
that's not fair.
They are the worst because here's why they're awful. Is because they'll get these famous people. Like they'll get like Cillian Murphy,
Okay.
who's got a beautiful Irish accent.
Sure.
And he'll be like, the calming waterfall is running, and there's a mill in the background, and in the distance is the barn and the beautiful grass. But they don't really tell you anything. There's no real story. They're just saying
Oh
things.
no, my girl, she talks like this. She goes, I don't know what her name is. I think I did find out her name one time. I Googled her. I looked her up. I just wanted to see who was talking to me. But she says things like, you're getting ready to rest your body.
Mm-hmm. Those are too aggressive
So
for me.
close your eyes and let me help you get the rest you deserve. I'm like, I do deserve some rest.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then her voice eventually it just sort of fades and the music becomes louder than her voice. And next thing you know, you're out. You're asleep. I get with it a little bit.
Dude, I just can't stand it because again, they're telling a story, but they never actually tell you anything.
No, I don't want to hear a story.
There's no story.
Nah,
And so
you
I'm sitting here listening.
I need to hook you up with my girl.
Dude,
I need to hook you up with my girl.
Stand it.
I need to hook you up with my girl.
Just give me the damn rain.
Yeah, because
I just want the rain.
My girl ain't trying to tell me a story. She's just trying to talk to me and make me feel good.
No.
Everybody needs a girl in their life like that, or a boy in their life like that. You know,
I'm good.
Everybody
on
needs
all
one.
that.
Let me hook you up with my girl.
No, dude.
Give her a shot.
I just want the
Give
rain.
her one
I just
shot.
want the rain noise. That's it. I'm simple.
But
Give me the rain.
She will talk to you while it's raining. It'll be like rain. You'll hear the rain
Uh-huh.
noises, and she'll be like, "You really deserve to rest right now." I'm like, "You're goddamn right. I do deserve to rest right now." I like it. I think you'd like her.
Okay.
Give her a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
Give her a shot. I'll share her with you. She's not mine. I don't own her. I don't possess this woman. Okay? Give her a shot. I think you'd like her. All
right.
She's calming.
I'll give it a shot.
All right. Let's wrap this up with GP's carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but none of it matters. Because I got a present for you.
What's going on?
You just sold your house.
I did just sell my house.
I was happy for you.
Yeah.
I told you I think you deserve a present for that.
Yep.
And I know how much you like physical media.
I love physical media.
So I had to go to Target yesterday.
Oh my God.
And I made, for the first time ever, my son, he never even seen a Blu-ray.
Oh, you opened his mind. Dad, what's this?
I don't even think he knew what we were looking at.
Yeah.
All right? I was like, walk over here. We got to look at the Blu-ray. And I walked up every aisle, and I looked at all of them. You know, they still sell DVDs, too.
They do. Not as many.
I was confused because I was looking at some DVDs, too, and I was like, but maybe he doesn't like DVDs. Do you accept DVDs? Is that physical media?
Yes, but if there's a Blu-ray version, I
Okay.
prefer the Blu-ray version.
Okay, well, I wanted to get you a Blu-ray just
Yeah,
in case. I
thank
wanted
you.
to make sure I did this right.
All right.
I walked in, I found what I wanted to get you.
Okay. Dude, and I don't even have it. How about that? It's our king.
It's our king.
It's our king. Dude, I love that movie.
I found a Blu-ray of our king.
And I have the original on Blu-ray. So now I have the sequel. I could put them next to each other on the shelf.
They're going to look good. They're going to look good in the
We
mud
are
room.
so back.
We're back.
Physical media, baby.
We're back. Look at that. That's the Space Jam.
Shout out to the king.
With our king on Blu-ray. I bought that yesterday.
I'm gonna get a bottle of that wine that he was drinking. I'm gonna find out what he was drinking with Savannah on the sidelines. We're gonna pop a bottle. Man.
I went to self-checkout yesterday because I was worried. I didn't want somebody judging me for seeing me buy a Blu-ray. I didn't want them asking any questions like, what is this old man buying Blu-rays for?
Yeah.
I didn't want them asking any questions.
I get it. I'll do self-checkout too.
I didn't want them asking any questions. Like,
Yeah.
why you need Blu-rays, old
Uh-huh.
man?
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to play into any stereotype.
Yeah.
So I went to self-checkout, and I hid my Blu-ray underneath, some golf balls. So that I looked, like a real adult. And then I scanned it real quick, put it in a bag. Nobody knew except me and my son. It was our little secret. I guess now I'm telling the world, but at least now everybody knows I was doing that for you. Not
What'd
for
Lou
myself.
think?
Oliver was with me.
What'd Oliver think?
He also approves of Space Jam. He likes the movie.
Okay.
Didn't really understand the concept of Blu-rays. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, buddy, you take it out, you put it in a machine, and then it plays on the TV. And you know what he said? But isn't it on Disney Plus? And I said, that's what I tried to tell Bennett.
Yeah, I think it's on Max. But
Whatever. I said that's what I tried to tell Bennett, is that you don't need to own this stuff. It's already in your TV.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, then why does Bennett still have all these Blu-rays? And I said,
Because I'm a collector, buddy.
Oliver, you should have watched the show earlier in the week. We've already talked about this.
Physical media will never die as long as I'm alive.
As long as Bennett's alive, there's
Me and the king.
As long as Bennett's alive, there's going to be a aisle and Target filled with Blu-rays.
By the way, do you remember when this movie came out and
I saw LeBron the next day. He was at the movie came out on a Friday, and then on Saturday he was at Peach Jam walking around.
Okay, remember when there was this phenomenon? They made these big LeBron figures, dolls, and everyone was taking the heads.
Yes.
I went to Walmart and there was 10 of them in a row, and all the heads
Headless
were gone.
Kings.
Yes.
Headless Kings. I do remember people were stealing LeBron's head.
Because it just popped right off. You didn't have to take it out of the packaging or anything, so people were just walking around popping off his head.
That's rude.
I think that's rude too.
You know what else is rude? People opening stuff at Walmart or Target and then just leaving it open.
Leaving it there.
People do that.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, like golf gloves and just stuff. People open it up and then just leave it there. I don't think that's right.
It's probably not right. Yeah.
Hey, I got that for you.
Thank you, man.
It's the least
Appreciate this. This is awesome. I will cherish it forever.
All right. It's the least I could do.
What's today's biggest game?
8:30, Paycom Center, Oklahoma City. It's another pivotal Game 5. So we got a game 5 in Boston, but it's not pivotal.
Mm-hmm.
Boston's up 3-1. Donovan
That's
Mitchell.
that one. That thing's
Donovan
done.
Mitchell's out again.
They're
Boston's
done.
a 15.5-point favorite at home. This is over.
Yeah, let's
All right?
close that out.
We got a pivotal game 5 tonight, though. 8:30, Mavs Thunder. It's tied 2-2. TNT, that's where you'll watch it. Oklahoma City's a 4.5-point favorite. Totals 212.5. How you going to act after losing last night with Caitlin Clark? Your record's 113, 119, and 4. You're down 18.9 units.
You know, I was going to go one way, but then you handed me this.
I know.
And I think it's a sign that I'm going to go with the Kings' former teammate, Kyrie Irving. Tonight, we are going to get a vintage Kyrie performance in the fourth quarter tonight. It's my a few degrees removed from Space Jam 2 play of the night. Kyrie Irving, and they're going to cover. Dallas covers, and I think wins.
Bennett says take the Mavericks plus 4.5 points tonight because I just gave him a Blu-ray and it's got LeBron on it, and LeBron used to be teammates with Kyrie.
Won a championship together.
It's good enough for me.
Championship mentality.
He's got a championship mentality. And other stuff, too.
Yeah.
But also a championship mentality.
Let's go.
Let's go. Bennett says take the Mavericks tonight. Okay, that's what he's going to do.
What are we watching on TV?
Ooh, can I interest you? Speaking of, we were talking about Apple TV Plus earlier. Can I interest you in Hollywood Con Queen?
I do like a good Hollywood
con.
Yeah, I like a good Hollywood controversy.
So let me tell you what this is about. It's based on the original reporting of this investigative journalist, a guy named Scott Johnson, who works for the Hollywood Reporter. So basically the deal is there was this woman several years back who was posing as film executives and luring people to Indonesia.
Oh my God.
Under the idea of it's for work, movies and commercials and whatever. And it was all a con. She ended up robbing $2 million from Hollywood folks. It was a big deal in the industry. And so now this is a 3-part docuseries sort of breaking down exactly how this happened and the fallout from it. Because these scam, everybody's getting scammed these days. If you ain't getting scammed these days, you're lucky. There's a lot of scammers out there.
Dude, and they've gotten so good.
They're so good. Did you see last week tonight, John Oliver, several months back, during basketball season at some point, there was you can find it on YouTube. It was about a very specific type of scam called pig butchering. You hear about this?
No.
Okay. So it's wild and it works. And it doesn't just work on your grandmother who doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
I mean, this is working on normal people. So there is this is what John Oliver does. He takes kind of obscure topics and really dives into them and then explains them to you in a hilarious way.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite shows because you watch it and you laugh and you get smarter. What's better than that?
No,
you learn something and you laugh while you're doing it. So it's rooted in China a lot with this specific type of scam. And it's actual government employees and they're scamming people all over the world, but especially Americans. So what they do is they'll target anybody. It could be anybody. They'll look at your social media and they'll see what you're into. Are you married? Are you not? Do you have kids? Do you not? Do you like baseball? Do you not? Whatever. And it will start with something as simple as a text message, and it'll say, "Hey, just wanted to see if they might have targeted somebody in New York who they know is a Yankees fan." So the text would just be "Hey, wanted to see if you're going to the Yankees game tomorrow night. Was thinking about going. Would love to see you." And this person responds "Who is this?" Because numbers. This is Jimmy. And the person's "Well, Jimmy who?" And it's Jimmy Smith. And it's "Well, I don't know." He goes, "Oh, it must be the wrong number." And it's "Oh, well, I'm really sorry to bother you." And then it'll be something "Well, hey, if you're going to the Yankees game," and it's "But I am a Yankees fan," and they're now texting each other. These two people don't know each other.
Yep.
They create a initial contact point. So now they're just texting about the Yankees, and they intentionally target lonely people that live online because they don't have anything else to do.
Yep.
Right. So they're just talking. Now you're just in a conversation with this person you think's another Yankees fan. And then it's just like, hey, did you watch the Yankees game? Now it's just, and you build up the trust. And at some point it's like, so what do? You're talking to each other over several weeks, months. And it's like, well, I'm making a lot of money in crypto. And you start talking to them about that, how much money you've made in crypto. And here's the scam. They never ask you for money. They say, hey, if you ever want to get involved, like I could set you up with my guy and like help you get involved. He's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, I don't need, I'll introduce you to them. You guys figure it out. And it's like the first thing you would do is just download this app in the App Store. You go download an app in the App Store. It's got 7,000 positive reviews, 5-star reviews. It looks totally legitimate. The app's a scam. So you get into this app, and then this person or this other person, it all seems legitimate. They're telling you what to do. Like, just do this. You're not sending your money to anybody. You're just in an app. We all believe in apps. Ubers.
That's right, yeah.
Your app tells you your car's about to pick you up. You jump in it.
It's got good reviews.
It's got good reviews.
Yeah.
So these people are then investing money in this app. And then they're getting, you open the app and it says, oh, I just made $2,000. Oh, I just made boom, boom, boom. And it gets up to a certain point and you want to cash out your money. And it's like, it's not real. You were just
throwing away your money.
Yeah.
Yep.
They took they targeted this it's really sad, college-age girl. So she's in college, smart girl.
Yeah.
I guess. And they targeted her. She lost all her money. But before she even lost all her money, she had roped her dad in, being like, Dad, I've got this great thing. Look at how much money I'm making. Her dad took all of his retirement, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Jeez.
All of it gone. All of it. They lost everything.
That is why, like Xavier said in the chat, like, I will never respond to anything. I don't answer the phone if it's a number I don't know. If it's important, they'll leave me a message. I don't answer any text message if it's someone I don't know.
I almost got caught back during the season, and like I think I'm kind of a not dumb person.
No, dude.
So I get an email,
right,
and it was like from some podcasting company, and it was like, hey, Mr. Parrish, really a fan of your podcast, and am trying to organize some speaking thing where you and several other podcasters would be discussing for an hour the way you go about doing your job and where you think all of this is going, and if you would be interested, we would be interested in you. And I reply, I'm like, yeah, I would just need to know more about it. When is this? Where is this? What would be the price? And they were like, they gave me this, and then the money seemed outrageous relative to what I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. Like if you thought whatever you think it would be, multiply it by 10. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, I'm interested, sure. And then they were like, okay, well now if you could just send us a copy of, and I was like,
nope.
Is classic, sounds too good to be true?
Yep, it always is.
And you ready? They never circled back with me.
Mm-hmm.
Once I stopped engaging, they stopped engaging.
Yep.
And once I made it clear, like I wasn't going to do what, then it was over.
Like, dude, my email every day that I open it, it's you want a $10 Costco gift card, or
Nothing.
you want a free
I'll get
toaster
text messages like,
somewhere.
Hey,
yeah.
you just won free AirPods.
Yep.
And I'm like, why would I win free AirPods? Don't click that link.
Right.
Don't click that link.
Don't ever click
Why
the
would
link.
I just won free AirPods, right? It's tough out. Be careful.
Be careful.
This
man.
docuseries, Hollywood Con Queen, it's on Apple TV Plus. It should
I'll check it out.
It should teach us all how to be a little more careful.
What's the best thing we've read?
Brody Miller, The Athletic, got a nice piece in advance of the PGA Championship starting tomorrow in Louisville on Scotty Scheffler. Like everybody thinks Scotty Scheffler's the nicest guy in the world, and he is, but he's a killer on a golf course. And now Brody Miller has published a piece where he's talking to other PGA Tour players like, hey, yeah, Scotty really is the nicest guy in the world, but he will trash talk you, and he's out there trying to murder you every time he's on the course. So like there's another side of him that you guys don't get to see in the interviews. Article about that, you can find it right now, theathletic.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is going to be Thursday, so we'll be looking back at NBA playoff games, looking ahead to NBA playoff games. Should be a fun show. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. This gloomy day. I'll enjoy mine. I'll give it my best shot. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.